This is Emily from Sex with Emily, and you are watching the Sexy Mr. Media. Enjoy the show.
Today on Mr. Media, I'll talk to Mark Schwartz. He's just published his first book, I Hate You, Kelly Donahue. Stick around. If I play my cards just right, I may be the subject of the sequel. I Hate You, Mr. Media. Mr. Media is recorded live before a studio audience of women I dated and hated some more, in the new media capital of the world, St. Petersburg, Florida. It's only March, but I'm ready to declare Mark Schwartz's book, is it fiction? Nonfiction? The craziest effing book of the year. I Hate You, Kelly Donahue is one nutsy piece of work. It's deceptive, however, because the very first page of I Hate You sports a lovely dedication from my mom and dad. Aww. But from that point onward, it's a straight descent into angry coworker hell, as the author meets, hates, resists, dates, hates, mates, hates, and hates some more. In between, there's some mad plotting to kill Kelly Donahue, who, I must say, seems like a lovely young woman. Now, it must be noted that there is nothing typical about this book, which is a collection of typed and handwritten notes, think ransom, photographs, and hand-drawn illustrations that act as a manifesto for doing away with a mortal enemy in the office space down the hall. I Hate You, Kelly Donahue probably needs its own holiday declared so singles the world over can give it as a gift on an appropriate day off from work that does not yet exist. And one more thing. Kelly Donahue is apparently a real person, which makes this even weirder. That said, Mark Schwartz, welcome to Mr. Media.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Mark, what's wrong with you?
Not much. I just have a dark sense of humor, I guess.
Were, were all the less psychotic book ideas taken when you kind of conceived of this book?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I just wanted to do something that I would actually want to read, and luckily, other people want to read it too. So,
And I mentioned that apparently there is a real Kelly Donahue. Can you explain, without giving too? I'm trying to be careful here, not to give too much away.
yeah,
But can you explain? There is a real Kelly Donahue, and how does this all sort of work?
I guess there's always a real Kelly Donahue. Yeah, so the long, I guess the long background is when I started the project, I was working at an ad agency, and I was having lunch with some friends, and we started talking about who would be fun to fight at work. So, so we, which I'm sure everyone does.
Office Fight Club.
Exactly.
Sure.
And we started going through all the different guys, and so could kill you, and so you could take. And then we started talking about the girls at work. And one of us threw out this really sweet girl named Kelly Donahue. And really harmless, awesome girl. And I kind of had this idea of what if I've been secretly keeping a journal on how to beat her in a fight to the death. And my friends thought that would be super creepy. And
You have some reliable friends there. Good.
yeah, and that was kind of the motivation I needed to start one. So I started the journal just for fun. I figured I'd maybe do 3, 4 pages. We'd all laugh, and that would be it. But I kind of got into it more than I thought I would, and it just kept going. So Kelly Donahue, the name is real, but everything else about it, well, the name and photos are real. The rest is all fictional.
Has Kelly had any feedback from this yet?
She's a big supporter. When I did show it to her originally, before I even pitched it as a book, I had maybe 15, 20 pages of it, and I just wanted to get her take on it without freaking her out too much, and she was a sport. I mean, I told her to take it over, look at it, come back to me. She flipped through it, and she's like, "This is weird as fuck. I mean, this is super creepy." But she's like, "This is you, and this is what you do, and it's funny. So yeah, go with it."
Are you officially the creepiest co-office worker ever?
Um, I guess I'm up there. It comes from the heart though. It's more of a friendly creepiness.
This is the New York City map that shows Mark following Kelly Donahue home. Uh, these are let's see. Let me find another example here. He has the list of things that are way worse than dating Kelly Donahue. Um, did she ask at all? Did she ever ask, "Hey, Mark, could you, I don't know, change the name in the book and make it, so it was a little less creepy?"
Right. Well, she was okay with the name. I think I've been pretty delicate about it. I'm trying not to, I guess, not to push it out there as far as using her images in any advertising. I'm trying to make it pretty clear that it's a fictional character who just happens to share her name. And I mean, the fact is, the real Kelly Donahue is nothing at all like the character I portray. But yeah, it's she had a few I guess recommendations for a few entries which were too creepy to make it to the final book.
Oh, now you brought that up. Now you got to tell us what could possibly be too creepy to make it in this book.
Uh, yeah, there weren't too many. There was one major one, I guess, that I agreed. It was, well, there's that one center spread, I guess, in the book when the two characters, I guess, my character and the Kelly Donahue character finally have relations when they finally do get it on.
Hmm.
And in the book right now, it basically announces it by spelling out "we did it" in penis letters. And
Very clever.
yes, thank you. And when the original one was fewer penises, but it basically had one large phallus shooting arrows out of it towards her. Um, it was yeah, it was. I mean, it was ridiculous. But yeah, so we toned down the angry penis and instead went with more penises, but friendlier ones.
I think anyone reading it will get the sense that it was still an angry penis.
They were a mix of angry and sad.
Mm.
They were emotional penises.
Well, there's a lot of sadness in this book. Maybe not written in so many words, but I think the reader will get a sense of some sadness. And
Oh,
I'm saying this in all due respect. I mean, it's a funny book.
yeah.
It's just honest to God, I've never seen anything like this before.
Well,
And
I mean that's great. I mean it's so funny because when I've been getting a lot of reaction from it. I've been getting random emails from people and some it's all been positive, but it's interesting how people take it one of two ways. They either see it as the character is just some nut bar who meets girls and decides that he has to go fight them to the death,
Mhm.
or they see it as some really really simple guy who really has a crush on this girl and he just doesn't know how to express his emotions. So he does the whole third grader, has to hit a girl to
Right.
try to get her attention. And it's funny, so many people have come up to me and said that they actually see it as a pretty romantic, cute book, and I think that's great.
I think that's frightening.
Yeah.
Let me show one of my. There's two real interesting things here. Now we're going to show the cover of the book at the start and end of the show, but I love the use of the photo booth photos, and I don't think people will be able to see it from here, but in each of the three photos, she's just kind of clowning and having fun, and you are just resolute. You are just not getting any pleasure from this at all. And then the other thing I want to show is that because it's sort of like a notebook, it is actually bound like a notebook. See if people can see that. See, each page flips over, so it's like you've actually gotten Mark's book, And of course, this is almost like the subtitle is "Do not open, nothing to see here," just boring stuff and empty pages. Let's see if I get that to the screen. There we go. So anyway, it's just now. Does a book like this does it require research or is it purely stream of conscious?
It was mostly stream of conscious. I when I actually created it, I did it in an actual journal that looked very much like that, and I try my best to simply write everything in the journal. So if I changed my mind, had to cross something out, if I misspelled it, I crossed it out in the journal, and that's what we got. I mean, later on, I did have to go back and forth a little bit just once I started building the story arc, but for the most part, it was it was just all in my head.
And this is probably a good point. I didn't mention in the introduction. Tell folks what you do for a living.
Oh, so for a living, I am an advertising copywriter. So for the past 10 years or so, I've been writing commercials and print ads and digital ideas in advertising.
So not to worry, folks. He has a job. He's gainfully employed, has parents, has friends. It's just a book.
Yep.
Now, if I managed a bookstore, and who's to say, maybe I do. I don't. If I managed a bookstore, where would I shelve this book?
Well, right now it's in Barnes and Nobles across the country, and it started off being held in the humor section,
Hmm.
and recently they've been putting them on the odd, fun, and weird table that you'd see on the floor. So I think that's pretty accurate. It's a mix of humor and odd,
Mm.
but some places might put it in the graphic novel section as well. It kind of crosses that line.
Well, I was going to say, years ago, I did a biography of Will Eisner, graphic novel guy, comics guy, and he told me the story this is why I even asked the question. When the first graphic novel that he did, A Contract with God, came out, he was so excited. Someone called him and said, "Hey, I saw your book at Rizzoli, in New York, very famous bookstore." And so he was so excited. So he went there, and he looked for the book, and he couldn't find it. So it was only like a day later. So he went to the manager, and I'll probably screw up the story, but I'll do the best I can. And he said that he asked the manager, "Hi, I'm Will Eisner. I understand that you're carrying my book. I was very excited, but I can't seem to find it anywhere." He says, "Oh yeah." He said, "Well, we first place we put it was with the cartoon books, the comics, and things like that. But then I had someone who came and complained, how could you have this here next to Dennis the Menace and Beetle Bailey and probably Garfield at the time?" He says, the guy said, this woman complained, there's nudity in this book and graphic language. And he said, "Oh, well, of course I can't do that." And so he moved it to, I think he moved it to religion. And then someone complained when they saw it in the religious section because it's a comic book. It should be with the comic books, or
Right.
on and on and on. Finally, he wound up taking it off the shelves because he didn't know where to put it, not to offend
Oh.
people. So
Yeah, I think this one fits pretty well in either humor or odd. So that's a pretty good fit.
all right. And so I mean, you've established here, and we'll take your word for it that Kelly, the actual Kelly Donahue, is a friend, and you have real friends. However, are you married?
No, nope, single at the time.
Dating? Anything?
I date. Yeah.
Okay. So the question is, women all over America will probably be exposed to your book. They'll read the book, and what do you think they're thinking about? I mean, if they read, if they read someone else's book, they're going to go, "Wow, I'd really like to date this author. He's smart and he's probably very wealthy from selling these books." But if they read "I Hate You, Kelly Donahue," what are they going to think of Mark Schwartz?
Yeah, great question. Well, I mean, I've brought it up on dates, and it's a pretty good gauge of whether or not we'll click. If a girl has a sense of humor and gets the fact that that's my sense of humor too, and it's just weird and ridiculous, then yeah, then things are pretty good. And if they don't get it, then they're gonna have a hard time dealing with me because that's the kind of stuff I find funny.
And just to do a little advanced research for some of these women who, may be in the future Mark Schwartz dating pool, are there any court restraining orders on file in Brooklyn anywhere?
Not at the moment. Yeah,
Okay.
nothing right now.
Because you do the whole stalker thing very well, and I just thought, we could save some young women a few steps if there are or there aren't.
No, all clear. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good. And what's the best way to get off your shit list? For future folks, short of shooting you.
To get off my shit list. Well, I mean, honestly, I'm pretty friendly. It doesn't. I don't have that much of a shit list. And that's the thing. I only write these hate books about friends. So yeah. I mean, if you if you're my enemy, then you're pretty safe. Yeah.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Does that have an application here? No, I guess not. No, no. And how long did it actually take to write this?
Let's see. Well, the first 6 months, it was purely a side project. So I wasn't intending it to be a book. It was just a random little fun thing. And then once I did get signed on by a literary agent, I guess another year or so to finish it up, and then we started pitching it around, and yeah, it got bought pretty fast.
Well, it's interesting because a lot of times something that's so different has trouble. If you usually would hear these stories, well, we went through 2 or 3 rounds of editors and no one got it, and it kept getting turned back. But I mean, guess what you're saying is that they grasped it pretty quickly.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, it certainly didn't get bought up by the first person, but it did get taken pretty quick. And the great thing was, even the rejections were some of the most positive rejections I've ever seen. Pretty much everyone got the book. They just some of them just couldn't get it past everyone on the list, and some of them couldn't afford to print it in full color. So there are definitely some barriers to it, but overall, everyone got the humor. The question was whether they could actually package it and get it through every single layer that they had to.
I teased in the introduction about there's this lovely dedication at the front of the book to Mom and Dad. I'm going to guess Dad got a kick out of it. Mom at all concerned about you reading the book? How did she respond?
Yeah, Mom and Dad were actually really cool with it. I've been this way my whole life. I mean, they know my sense of humor is a little bit off. I think they're just really psyched that other people are confirming that I'm not the only one who appreciates it.
Fair enough.
Yes.
And so, where do you go from here? Do you do another? Are you going to do another book? Is it? I imagine you're not going to do a sequel to this. I covered a lot of ground right here. What do you do next?
Yeah, well, I'm certainly in the middle of another book. It's different. It's another humor book, but certainly very different, and still in the early stages of that. And yeah, I'm just doing other humor writing projects. So I mean, this one's getting pitched around as a film right now. So
Oh God,
yeah,
I think that's a great idea. I'm just laughing.
yeah. No, I mean laughter's good. Yeah, I'm just seeing where it takes me, but I mean, this is the kind of stuff that I love reading and I love writing, and it's been really positive just seeing how many people actually get it as well. It's certainly polarizing. You either do or you don't, and it's nice to see that a lot of people do.
Has it, because you're in a creative field, has it changed your perception at work in terms of people look at you and go, yeah, okay, he is a pretty funny guy. Maybe we need to think about him a little broader than we do.
I mean, I'd say not so much, only because I've been doing this kind of work throughout my career. I've just been applying it differently. So depending on what the project is, I still try to put in my weird take on it, and everyone, all my friends, all my coworkers, they've known me for years, and I've been doing this forever. It's just I've finally been able to condense it into one creepy book. But it's no, I mean, everyone's so supportive of this, which has been really amazing. I mean, I've wanted to write a book since I was 5, and I'm glad that this was the one that I could actually put it all into. And yeah, just going to keep trying to do some more.
I've got to ask, that pounding on the door that we seem to be hearing, you sure there aren't people coming to take you away?
No, they're just building a hotel outside my window. That's the downside of living in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. There's constant construction.
Okay, we'll go with that. So last question, and we'll let you go. Kelly's kind of cute. Any chance of the ultimate of ironies that you and Kelly might, get together after all this?
Yeah, I think we're really, really good friends. I think it'd be a little too creepy if if it actually turned real. But yeah, she's awesome, and I'll certainly set her up with any fans of the book who need a good girl.
Very good. Well, folks, listen, you can order Mark Svartz's new book, I Hate You, Kelly Donahue, in great stores everywhere, or you can order it right here, right now, at a great price at MrMedia.com via Amazon. You have a website, Twitter, Facebook, any of that you want to share with folks?
Sure, yeah. Well, the website for the book is IHateYouKellyDonahue.com. You could also follow daily updates on new reasons to hate Kelly Donahue on Facebook at Facebook.com/I Hate You Kelly Donahue, as well as my Twitter, which is at Octopony.
Octopony?
Yeah, OCTOPONY.
Okay, sure, just like it sounds.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, Mark, I had some fun with you here. It's a funny book. Anyone who's ever dated a woman, I think can relate. That could be women or men, frankly, in this day and age. But appreciate your sense of humor, and thank you so much for joining us on Mr. Media today.
No, thanks for having me. This was great.
My pleasure.
All right. Take care.
Yeah. For more original interviews, surf over to our main website, mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. If you've enjoyed today's show, subscribe for free to Mr. Media via email, RSS, or iTunes, and you'll never miss a show. Another good idea, download our new free Mr. Media mobile app in the Android market. You can also listen with a piece of string and a tin can in many parts of the internet. Show your support of Mr. Media by supporting our sponsors, including Audible. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/radio. Again, that's audibletrial.com/radio for your free audiobook. We're also supported by thepartyauthority.us. Call DJ Ira for all your party entertainment needs nationwide at 1-800-DIAL-DJs, or visit their website, thepartyauthority.us. If you've got an idea for a guest, a comment on today's show, or would like to advertise on Mr. Media Radio, email me directly at bob@mrmedia.com, mrmedia.com. You can also call our 24-hour listener line at 1-727-498-4711. Some messages may be used in an upcoming show. And unless you live next door to Mr. Media, there may be a toll charge. You can also follow Mr. Media on Facebook, Twitter, or our new YouTube and Vimeo video channels. Thanks so much for joining us today. I always appreciate you sharing a piece of your day with Mr. Media. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Hey everybody, this is Bob Andelman from Mr. Media. First of all, I want to thank you for years of support listening to this show. We're starting our 6th year, it's hard to believe, our 6th year as 2012 starts, and heading towards our 1,000th online podcast, audio and video. It's pretty amazing, frankly. I remember starting it several years ago thinking this will never last. And podcasts, that's as stupid a word as blogging. But here we are, starting our 6th year and heading up to 1,000 interviews. And I want to thank everybody for listening and supporting the show. I also want to tell you that, one of the things that's been very helpful for this show is Stitcher Radio. Yes, this is sort of a commercial. Now, there are millions of smartphone apps in the world, but I only use one several times a day, Stitcher Radio. I build my own radio station to listen to broadcast and online shows when I want and in the order I want. CNN News Update, Onion Radio News, WTF with Mark Maron, MSNBC's Morning Joe, Studio 60, the TechCrunch headlines, and of course, Mr. Media. It's free. It works on iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Palm Pre, and much more. And you can get it for free for yourself. Try it out. I guarantee you're going to love it. Stitcher.com/MRmedia. That's Stitcher.com/Mr. Media. You're going to love it. And thanks again for supporting the show.